It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Alaja, Nima, Akashat, Zibiri, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
And the same color somewhat today. What's up?
I'm good.
How was your weekend?
It was a busy weekend. So the Zenith Bank Christmas light up was happening. They really insisted on taking his children, according to him, because I was against it. But it was fun. The kids really had fun. We were there, slept on the island, and...
Oh, shit. The hotel? Nice. Oh, that's so sweet of him.
Kids had fun. They're still talking about it, and I'm feeling guilty, because I became the wicked one.
Hope you made use of this is really interesting. So your husband just take you for the weekend, stay on the island.
Hope you made
hotel.
He's always loved that idea.
Of just take a staycation somewhere.
Hope you used it judiciously.
You can trust
I
that.
trust you.
Please, it's Monday morning.
I want to send out a condolence message to my partner. It's been my partner at Sinusha, my law firm, for 7 years now. And my friend from way back in school, Yaya lost his dad yesterday. My heart is with you. May Allah grant Baba and Jannah for us.
Talking about condolence, so I also have an auntie who lost her husband on Friday. Auntie Kofo, I'm sure it's Kofo Gala, Mr. Galfemi Gala passed on Friday. Oh, so rest in peace. I was with her over the weekend, but I'll probably stop by again today. So it's one of those times that you just have to stay with family and friends at this time. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm good. Friday was Daystar's 27th year anniversary. So yesterday was celebration in church. It was our own kind of celebration. So you know some other churches, they do Ashwebi, they have color everywhere. This isn't really like that.
Are you feeling like?
I feel our focus. But really our church is no.
People do Ashwebi now.
No, it's not like our thing to do over-the-top celebration. The focus at least for the past 15 years I've been there is in testifying the lives that you have touched. So that's the counting. Don't come and tell us how many cars you bought this year.
What did you do for the anniversary?
So, 27 years,
nice.
And it was a celebration of a life of impact and a platform to impact. And it's just something to obey God. You know, some things you start small. Mariah obeyed God in pushing for this show, and then very soon will be 10 years. Sometimes we were looking at this 1 year, but just start, and in a few years' time, it'll be like, 10 years gone, 20 years gone. How did we even start this thing?
Our own 10 years, I'm you. Your view 10 years is next year. We are shutting down Lagos.
Shutting down Lagos.
We're going to print out Ashwebi, your view. Your view at 10. Lagos must know that your view is 10.
Yes, sir.
Next year, How are you doing, Obiajulo?
Fine, I'm doing well. So I spent the weekend doing some experiments. You guys, I'm getting into healthy snacks. Yay. So I was exploring dried fruits.
Fantastic.
I've got my dehydrator. I was just doing one experiment to the other. You know, just
Empire.
Empire.
As they do
Business empire.
They do clothes. Children's clothes.
Yes. So
Then now we're doing
this is Business Empire has got you covered.
Anyway.
One stop
Please,
shop.
I'm the first order. I'm going to order my consignment. Once your dried fruits are ready, just call me up. Fantastic. I think it's great work you're doing.
You don't give us to taste.
Wait now.
We are the
They're coming down.
It's Monday, guys. Let us be serious. We're on your seriousness. Yeah. As I said, it was one of those condolence weekends. You have a lot of not full fantastic news this weekend. You just have to thank God for life at first. But
where our seriousness.
Just in we have experienced this Monday.
I'm not among
Go on a break. When we come back, go through the front page of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with The Nation. 2023, G5 governors allies to sustain anti-Atiku moves. Gunmen killed 3 policemen in Enugu. Saudi-bound woman held with cocaine. More Nigerians seeking UK visa, says High Commissioner. 13% derivation, Wike's disclosure on settled South-South governors. Interest rates hike likely as CBN reviews indicators. Why we are backing Obi by Ohaneze. Ekiti Assembly boils and cleric abducted in Kwara State. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The UK. So the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mrs. Catriona Lang, said yesterday that more Nigerians are seeking United Kingdom visas. And he said this, that the UK government is mindful of everything that's happening, mindful of the situation, and was in talks with the federal government to avoid the brain drain, because we know that we have had issues of brain drain where especially in the health sector, where a lot of the doctors are relocating to the UK to work. So she spoke in Abuja, and she was saying that they are going to be working hand in hand with the federal government on that. Also, that most Nigerians want to be in the UK because they have made their policies very accommodating and acceptable. And the fact that it's an English-speaking country, and Nigerians like to go where they have most of their people. Most Nigerians are majority of Nigerians are in the UK, and so that's why a lot of people are coming. But they understand what we are going through, and they will be working with us directly to ensure that we don't lose all of our people trying to go to the UK to work in the UK.
Oh, okay, so Kata bus on Friday when Governor Wike...
I got it.
Okay. So, Governor Wike on Friday busted the news when he said that President Muhammadu Buhari had paid all the pending derivatives of 13% all since 1999 to the states, namely Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, and Akwa Ibom State. He said that part of the money he used, the 17 billion was part of which he used for the Port Harcourt campus of the Nigerian law. He also built flyovers. He also built law school and the cancer center with his money.
Yes.
He was not wondering what other governors used their money. No, Nigerians were wondering what other governors used with their money. Governor Okowa came out and said, our own is 270 billion, but I've only drawn 30 billion, of which has it, but that the government obviously don't have the capacity to give them all the money. And yes, he also acknowledged that yes, the money was paid. The federal government, Buhari, actually approved for the money to be paid, and the draw is based on what is needed. So, but other governors are yet to tell us. Based on this report, I'm yet to see what other governors. But it's very interesting this week because one of the governors says he will reply that he was going to talk to the Commissioner of Information. He'll get back to us like today.
Oh wow! I think we'll be on top of it.
No.
Since it is a major.
Not usually.
So let us.
Where is our money?
So let us calm down this week. Let's give the governors this week to tell us how they use this 13%. What is interesting that why they say they don't do anything. Guys,
he don't release anything.
He has always said he did well to this country.
Wow.
Time will tell.
Okay,
interest rate is likely to go up. According to The Nation, the Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN, which usually reviews the monetary policy rates every of their meetings, is having their 288th meeting at the headquarters today. And they will be deciding whether what they decided in September is no longer viable. So in September, it's true of the same year, they increased the monetary rate from 150 basis points from 14% to 15.50%. And they raised the benchmark of interest rate to its highest level since the adoption of the MPR in December 2006. Now, the MPC has also increased cash reserve ratio from 27.50% to 32.50% while retaining the asymmetric corridor at positive 100 to negative 700 basis points around the MPR. It also retained a liquidity rate of 30%, and this Apex Bank, between May and September 2022, raised this MPR to 400 basis points, and they're having their final meeting for this same year, 2022. I hope that the place they leave it is where they will leave it, but their job, according to one of the managing directors of Arthur Steven Asset Management, is to balance our finances. How they balance it, make them not...
Okay. So let me quickly address the drama in Ekiti State. The current speaker of Ekiti State, who was just elected to that position last week, is crying out that he's heard of moves to impeach him from being the speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly. He also said that his life is at risk, which for me is worrisome. He said this on a political TV show, mentioning the fact that he was at a conference in Abuja and he heard news that he might be impeached. He won the votes against his rival, 15 votes to his rival, Mrs. Bumi Adeluga, who is also contesting to be the Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly. And the controversy is that some people are ganging up against him, taking away some of his supporters are now deserting him. So if they have to do the election again, he might not win, but he's already been declared the Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, and he's saying that this is going to disturb the new governor. They should let Ekiti House of Assembly run. A lot of the previous members of the House of Assembly did not get to be re-elected, and they are the ones now causing trouble within the Ekiti State House of Assembly. They should calm down, let the House support the new governor to deliver good governance to the people.
Quickly to the Punch. NFIU flags off 150 trillion naira transactions. EFCC tracks candidate spending. Pro-Femi lawmakers plotting my removal, say Ekiti Speaker. We just took that story. Nigeria risk flood crisis in 2023, says IMF. Zenith Bank lights up Victoria Island for Christmas. Beautiful, beautiful to see. Ohaneze endorses Obi, says it's our turn. Government abduct Kwara cleric, son demand 100 million naira ransom. Mob lynches transport bus for killing Oyo teenager. Story are we starting with?
Yes, the major headline. So the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit has flagged suspicious transactions valued at over 150 trillion between January and March 2022, according to a suspicious transaction report, suspicious activity report released on Sunday. So the development came as the EFCC and the NFIU officials said they had intensified surveillance on campaign spending by political parties and their candidates ahead of the 2023 elections. So it's between the EFCC and the NFIU that are handling these investigations, and they said they are carrying out joint operations to close in on several suspicious spending by parties, candidates, and top chieftains. They also said that the EFCC has deployed its operatives to track candidates spending money and monitor their bank accounts as part of actions to combat money laundering, because this is the time, just because the general elections is coming, a lot of money laundering will be going on that in guise of moving money for politics and all that. So they went ahead to list all the different agencies and the amount of money that they have covered so far.
So IMF is speaking again. They said that Nigeria should brace up that by 2023, due to recent floods and high fertilizer prices, that were likely to have a hike in food prices. They specifically said that the volatility in the value of the naira, the federal government's continued dependence on Central Bank of Nigeria for financing its budget deficit, and the climate change were all risk factors that would cause the food hike in prices. They said the effects of recent flooding, high fertilizer prices are becoming more entrenched, impacting negatively both on agricultural produce and food prices. So that's what IMF is telling us. Okay.
You know, interesting, the Punch. The mob attack lynched a transport bus for killing Oyo teenager. So, according to the details of this report, this person, who is supposedly was initially insinuated to be member of the parks management system in Oyo State, was, touting, trying to take money from a motorcyclist, and then that was resisted. He brought out a gun, and then there was a struggle between himself and the motorcyclist for who would control the gun. So they shot a stray bullet and killed a young boy who was passing by. And because of the death of the boy, the mob lynched him, beat him to death, and set his body ablaze. But the parks management system in Oyo State have come out to say that he's not a member of that. The spokesperson for the park system says he's not a member, and that it is smear campaign against their body for him to be linked to their body. But in every way, this is a sad story in every way.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Kids, grown-ups, it doesn't matter. Have a cup of peak chocolate anytime and enjoy the delicious nourishment of chocolatey goodness. Peak. Reach for your peak.
You know, every time you open that your stupid mouth, you show exactly what you know.
What?
You are drunk.
Jesus! You can't defend your wife anymore now, Julius.
Right.
None of this is his fault. I can't explain, just come.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup
check.
Are the scripts on the prompter? Script
check.
Are we set in the VCR? All tip and play? VCR
check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Opportunity to show say you sabi, especially when another chef wants show herself. Now what party start to? Egbami, why these people not like my
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni, Yeni, Anifulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger, today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait, what's your age?
I said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. But that wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink out?
You go just go. Take. Look at you. Russian.
No, they are.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no.
Thanks for saying. We're still reviewing Punch.
Yes, so I'm taking the story on the gas. And this is a special feature in Punch about how gas prices is being hiked based on middlemen. And I had to, the story was very detailed in that NNNG supplies Nigeria most of its gas, 100% of its butane into the markets, Nigeria. And that this was a policy that the former governor Obasanjo created so that we don't lack gas. But the scoop of the story is that NNNG would supply middlemen. It would supply the foreign firms such as NIMCO, NAVGAS, and some other local depot owners at 6 million per 20,000 metric tons. But they then sell to other distributors at 12.8 million per 20,000 metric tons. That's over 100% in price. And that is the real reason for the hike in cooking gas. The cooking gas used to be 3,500 as at for 12 kg in 2019, but right now 10,000 to 11,000, saying that many Nigerians are unable to, even 12,000 depending on the location you are buying from, and many Nigerians can no longer afford to use the cooking gas, which is a cleaner energy, and are resorting to coal and firewood, and that it is linked to the fact that there is an inflation of price between the middlemen. They are calling for investigation of these depot owners that they get you can't get crude oil, you can't get gas for 6 million and be selling for 12.8 million. That even if you are adding your storage costs, it shouldn't be that high, and they should explain how the price jumps like that.
Okay, moving on quickly to Daily Sun. Military gets order to tame terrorists before elections. Why we endorse Peter Obi by Ohaneze. Excitement as World Cup begins in Qatar. Protest as North gets lion's share in National Assembly new appointments. Lekki Ekpe corridor may be washed away by 2024, says NCF. PDP crisis Wike allies meet in Lagos form integrity group. Insecurity, unemployment will determine how rural Nigerians vote, says survey. Hope rises for increased production as Buhari flags off all exploration in Bauchi and Gombe. Okay, which story?
Lekki Ekpe Expressway. According to the NCF, the DG of the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, Dr. Joseph Onoja, who was speaking at their 40th anniversary of the establishment of the foundation, and he said that they've been monitoring via drone the corridor of the Lekki Ekpe Expressway, starting from the Lafia G axis with drones from 2018 to 2022, and they have house marks, and they compare the pictures that they see periodically with the Google pictures of what used to be, and they see constantly that the ocean is encroaching.
Wow.
By 2024, he says that if care is not taken to stem what is happening right now, Nigerians being deliberate about how they live along nature, the ocean will get to the expressway itself. And yes, the ocean will get to the expressway itself, and that this monitoring that they have done over time, they've continued to see how close. Presently, one of the houses that they to measure the meter, the ocean is already at the doorstep of the house, just between 2018 and 2022. It's worrisome for me, but I know if Miriam was here, she would take this story quickly. She's
okay, let's take another story. I was going to take the story, Governor Wike. I love Governor Wike. So the G5, he's the one leading the G5 governors. That's of the PDP. That's Oyo State, Benue, Enugu, Abia, and River State. And they're not troublemakers, so they call themselves the Integrity Group now. They've rebranded. So they came to Lagos and said that they came to just discuss their party issues. I say we're in the Southwest to review the situation within our party, to review where we are and how, and also look into what is going to happen in the upcoming elections. And they're standing on the fact that IU must resign, and saying that for the sake of equity, the government insisted that the national chairman, PDP of IU must resign in order to maintain balance and equity after the emergence of the northern candidate. Other PDP leaders like, I think it was Bode George, I'm trying to see the list. Yes, we have the former governors of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, and a whole bunch of other leaders were all in Lagos saying that they're insisting on their stance and hoping that they are also opening the door of the negotiation is still open, and they are willing to also reconcile with the party.
Okay, so Hannes Ndigbo has said his decision to back the presidential bid of the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, was constant, consistent, and clear. without any form of equivocation whatsoever.
Again.
So the President General of the Ohaneze, George Obiozo, yesterday stated that the group's position was consistent with the resolution of the Chief Edwin Clark-led Southern Middle Belt Forum, comprising of Afenifere, Pandev, Middle Belt leaders, and Ohaneze Ndibo. And he explained that going by the principles of zoning and rotation of power in the country, which took effect from 1999, it was the turn of the Southeast to produce the president for next year. And he said that the support was not just based on equity and justice, but also on merit, competence, track record of accomplishment, and the veritable ideas of the candidate that espouses for a better Nigeria. They said they have gone round the sorts from, high-meaning Nigerians, and they are happy with the sort of support they are getting so far from those people. That a lot of people have said that the LP does not have the structure, but this is a fight against the structure that has kept us in unemployment, lack of education, and all the evils that bedevil us as a country. This is a fight for maybe a revolution for a better Nigeria, one Nigeria.
So let me take the story still linked to the 2023 election. Next year, a policy think tank did a survey of about 2,000 people across different 12 states, cutting across 12 states of Nigeria. They asked them questions concerning how they are going to vote, why they are going to vote, and the results showed that unemployment, insecurity, weak economy, poor governance is a major influence on how people are voting. About 8 out of 10 of the respondents said that they might change their mind, but for now they are not happy with the direction the country is going into. And they just more details. I think it's just a conduct survey, so you get to an idea of how people actually feel about the government at hand.
Quickly now to Vanguard, let's find a few stories not taken. How politicians still threaten credible polls, says INEC source. 2023, it's the turn of Southeast. We talked about that already. Zenith Bank heralds unitary season with adjust Adekunle Christmas lights up. Stop hallucinating. You have no mandate to retrieve Adeleke tells Oyetola. I won't step down for anybody. NPP's party to beat, says Kwakonso. Gunmen kidnap Kwara cleric, son, sibling, demand 100 million naira. And I think that's the only story we've not taken. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so 3 persons, Sofiu Amolegbe, his son Aliyu, and his sibling Fasasi, were reportedly kidnapped this weekend by gunmen at their private residence in Okolowo along Ilori-Jeba Expressway in Moro local government area. So they said the kidnappers removed the anti-burglary that was proof of the window in the house and got in, and they took them. While the other guy, Fasasi, was trying to wrestle with the kidnappers, they shot him several times, used cutlass on him, and left him for dead and left. But I don't think he died. He was quickly rushed to the hospital. Now they're asking them for 100 million naira as a ransom to be paid to them. But the family is appealing and saying that they only have 10 million, which they don't even have. They were just trying to see how they can get it across to them. So they're appealing to the federal government to do something and help rescue these young men.
We have to wrap up, but
I wanted to take Qatar hosting the World Cup.
Yeah.
They did the opening ceremony yesterday.
And
I'm just grateful that Qatar represented the Arab world at the World Cup opening.
There's a lot of opposition about this capacity.
There are so many Arab countries. No, they are true to their values, unapologetic. I am proud to be a Muslim at this time. Every area you go to in Qatar, you see the Islamic values preached in a way that you won't forget. It's going to continue to be a reference point for most people who don't know a thing about Islam.
Fantastic.
Good that Qatar is the one that is hosting.
Okay, fantastic. I like that. I really like it. I think it's a time for us to...
The true inclusion is to accept other people that don't accept our views.
It's not a hot topic. Let's go on a break. When we come back, let's not discuss it. We'll be right back. Monday.
Don't want to start now.
Voila.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
It's closer. You click to refresh from it. It cleans deeply.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're on. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome mother, actor, lawyer, and Wonder Woman, first of her name, Queen of the Mic and the wielder of the lasso of truth.
Hey!
Oma Omi,
Oh,
Oma Wonder.
Oh.
Megbele!
I'm so happy.
I don't bust your brain.
Look,
Yeah.
somebody needs to pen down that thing and keep it for me.
My first question. Your friendship with Waji has become an iconic Nigerian entry into the annals of best friend stories.
Let's see happen.
That symbolism of what you did, cutting your hair, letting it out, just...
The symbolism of letting it out, of cutting my hair, and full expression of my despair.
Yes.
Ah! Oh, mommy. Then they say when you enter class, you say no. What manner of disrespect is that? You want to disgrace me so that people will not know that I know what it means?
And look, it you like this for you to even joke self.
Which I'm
so
going
that
to.
you will not get it.
I don't like this, honestly. Oh, mommy.
I'm in trouble. She's holding her sleeve.
Why you dey fear? Not be all of us they drink the drink.
So,
I don't tell you, it's either we use leg, take waka, or we use head.
I wanted to ask you, when did I get married?
See your eyes.
I dey vex.
I don't do you back. Improv.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup
check.
Are the scripts on the prompter? Script
Check.
Are we set in the VCR? All Tim in place? VCR
Check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights up. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
Now, nobody here is a football analyst. Nobody here is, we're not a FIFA analyst in any way. But we're just looking at discussing the various controversies we've heard, what it means to us, how people are seeing it in different ways, especially considering the fact that there have been accusations of human rights violations from Qatar for migrants who have lived there, the fact that their stance against the LGBTQ way of life, and other things that the West have totally condemned. And then that's on one end. Another end is, Nima was saying during the paper review, that it also projects the Islamic world, the Arab world, and shows the sincerity of the Islamic religion to the world. And there's an opportunity to showcase what Islam truly is in different ways. So it depends on who is looking at it. What are your thoughts on this? We'd like to hear your thoughts on the fact that Qatar is hosting the World Cup. The West seems to have a serious issue with this. Others are seeing it from a different angle. What are your thoughts? How do you see this decision? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets? Remember, we are not football analysts on this table. We're not analyzing football. It's to you. Let me start with you.
It was so beautiful. I wish my dad was alive to see a country hosts the World Cup, an Islamic country hosts the World Cup unapologetically. There are certain values people are known for. So when you cross the border and land in China, you will do as we always do, as we always hear, do what they do in Rome, as they do in Rome when you cross there. But you know, when the Western world sits in judgment, they always judge from their own perspective, their ways, their values, and tell a country how they would run their country. The only thing I must admit here is that all of the Arab countries, I've always said it, do not have favorable human rights laws around migrants. They're not favorable. They are very disrespectful. They don't have the same fundamental human rights values as we do under our constitution. And most of them are Emirates. Most of them, they don't run a democracy, so expect the same standard. If you go into Indonesia, for instance, with a bag of drugs, you know what the sentence is. Or even one small pill, you know what the sentence is. So countries should be able to stand. Sorry, let me not call them, I don't want to use the word racist, but people and their values are what you come to see when they host you. You don't come to see your values in them. So your appreciation should come from what exactly is the best and good part about them. And what I love the most is that I doubted it if Saudi were to host the World Cup, if people would see the beauty of Islam, because Saudi has become an apologetic country recently. They've watered down every Islamic values, even in their justice system. So along Qatar, I saw pictures on all of the Islamic blog about how we deal with neighbors, how people are welcome. It was so beautiful to see.
Okay, let me pause you for a second. I'll still give you the floor back because I know this is really something you're proud of. But let me come to those of us on the other side, saying, how do you perceive this? Let me come to you, Tokwe.
So I've been following the Qatar controversies towards the World Cup, and I just felt that we need to talk about the hypocrisy of the Western world. And the hypocrisy of saying, this is the way I have discovered to be the way it should be, and everybody that doesn't do it the way I discovered it should be is wrong. And when we talk about inclusion, and they are big on, Western world, they are big on inclusion, include the LGBTQ, include ABCD. Can we also include those that their culture does not support it? Because yesterday my pastor was preaching, said she was in Amsterdam, and she went into the red light district where they've legalized prostitution. People go there, it's allowed. They've legalized a lot of these things there. But and nobody is saying, why would you legalize a commercialization of a woman? And the Western world isn't saying that this thing legalized in this country is not acceptable for us. They've accepted and included some people to do what they want to do. Also allow those that have said, we do not include this. And I'm so happy that Qatar stood its ground and not have beer inside the stadium. That was a major controversy. They were able to get Brazil to upturn it. Brazil changed their own federal law because of FIFA to allow people to drink beer in the stadium. And Qatar said, no, we don't allow beer. You cannot drink beer publicly. You can only drink beer in the places where we have called FIFA festival zones. And I think that should not be frowned upon. But FIFA has done something amazing in including other countries and other culture in football. And they should let that trend, they shouldn't fall under the pressure of we are going to protest because people are protesting against FIFA for allowing Qatar to host.
Yeah.
And so FIFA is now putting pressure on Qatar. In actual fact, FIFA should stand for what it means, football, celebrating everyone to be allowed to play football.
But do you think, do you think there are lessons to learn here? Because many of us, especially those of us in Africa, it seems like we're very quick to accepting the culture, the Western culture, or them influencing us and even than us influencing them. And do you think there are lessons to learn, or do you think actually if you cannot join them, I mean, if you cannot be like them, don't join them? How do you see this?
So I'm happy that we are going to be drawing lessons from this, and I'm even more happy that we still have countries or people who know who they are and stand by it. We have talked about a lack of values, especially from the West, which is gradually sifting into our own systems here because we do not know who we are. We have no identity anymore. And so because they are not accepting this, it's sweet, okay, let us adopt it so that we can belong. They are accepting this one, it's interesting, let us adopt it. A man and a woman can now marry. Okay, it's not that bad. Let's not sit in a place of judgment. Let us accept it because we are gradually losing out on our own essence and our identity. And now this is a country that says this is who we are. They complained that they didn't have infrastructures, and I was wondering, when you knew that a country like Qatar does not have that capacity of infrastructure to take in the World Cup, why was it selected in the first place? You put it there, it was selected, and so you have to deal with what you have to face. When you go there, you behave. If you come to visit in my house, you don't sit down and give me the rules of how I should treat you and how I should serve you. You accept whatever I give to you. That's it. So the identity part for me, that they are sticking to who they are, is a lesson for everybody, especially Africans that are quick to abandon everything that they have and just follow the West.
I get you, but you see, the sanctity of human rights. And you all just admitted now that one of the shortcomings, especially in the Arab world, is the fact that they've not been able to embrace the human rights laws and the backbone of the Western belief system is the fact that every human being has a right to be it LGBTQ, be it whatever it is. You have the right to decide what you want, and you must be respected. So as basic as that is, don't you think that if you are going to be inviting people to your home, that okay, these people have this belief system, would you be criticized for bending the rules, or would you be saying that I am accommodating you because you're coming to my house?
Let's not miss the job of society. Business of society is to regulate its values in its people. And Qatar is good at their job. Now in Qatar, to be a gay person is 7 years imprisonment if you are not a Muslim. And this is a Sharia rule when you're a Muslim. So they have two systems. 7 years if you are not a visitor, not Muslim. If you're a Muslim, it's death sentence. They don't allow it they are strict. Just as being a fraud, an embezzler in government in China is death sentence. So when you cross to Nigeria, you can have connection and you'll be fine. It's the same, different things. And whatever it produces at the end of the day for that society is the form and culture of the society. As we are here now, we are shouting every day, government, tip money. But that's our culture. That's how we water down what the consequence of anything would be. And Qatar is regulating its society, its people to promote the values that they believe in.
Let me put in very important for a second. I'm going to go on a break. When you come back, I'd like to open our phone lines to take our viewers for stay with us after the break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the part of the show where I really have a lot of fun. Why? I'm highly competitive. I'm not going to ask you regular questions with me. I'm not well. So you're going to be as nuts as I am today, yes?
Ready.
Alrighty. Hey, sorry. Can you put it down here, please? King Dion versus Tony Owen. Thank you. See all the Lee Coco things you do, they make me no. Who said this?
I want to every day closer. Girl, I want to make you closer.
Okay.
Oxylating closer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun have you had on the show?
11, 10.
11?
10, yes.
11? Now we're going to terminate the show. Please, my producer, this is where we're cutting it. Cameraman, cut it. You don't cut. Okay, I'm just kidding.
The hottest music videos.
Check it out. Let's go.
Topping the charts. Right here on the Max World Chart Show.
Our guest, yes, is known for his quick rhymes, perfect cadence, His Royal Highness' finest, Jacks of all trades, Emperor Gaba, Jesse Jags. Jesse, please answer this next question by way of accepting or drinking another glass of alcohol if you disagree with the following statement. MI is the greatest Nigerian rapper of all time. It's very easy to catch Jesse Jags.
That's right.
There's no way he's going to agree.
OJ, it's been a nice day hanging out with you. My last question. I want you to name all the instruments that I play.
This is the trumpet, the saxophone, trumpet, saxophone. Yeah. You just play one of those wind instruments.
Taught by Femi Kuti. I do play saxophone. Taught by the legend. So I'll give you a. Boy, you're going to drink half.
And so does alphabet.
No, do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Just why are you
so
why
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports,
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing our thoughts on Qatar hosting the World Cup. And let me read you what a report says. So that Qatar is a country that for many years used a system that many human rights groups worried that exploited laborers and some cases kept people's passports and didn't even pay them. Also, some reports have indicated that hundreds, even thousands of workers died in the process of building the stadiums and other infrastructures for the Cup. They're now saying that FIFA should have used the opportunity of this World Cup to insist that if Qatar doesn't obey international human rights laws, you cannot host. So it's an opportunity to help. It would have been an opportunity for FIFA to help instill proper international human rights, because we cannot excuse their failure in human rights laws to then justify the fact that, oh, they're an Islamic nation that had the opportunity to host the World Cup.
Okay, but Mariah, let's understand that your human rights or
labor
laws or whatever stops where another person's own starts. So what you call human rights would be seen differently from different countries and their culture. These are countries that are very cultural, very religious. So they have built a form of rights or laws that they think is human enough for them to accept. So you can't come and say this is the international best standards. You are saying that they suffer a lot of workers. A lot of their workers have died in building the stadium and all of that. You are forgetting that. Wait, the UK government that we have today was built on the back of who? Slaves. The American government we have today was built on the back of who? Slaves.
That is why slavery has been abolished.
They have there. They cannot instill that people will get there before their time. That's what they did to us.
I don't want to mix culture and morals with human rights. They are two different things.
No. See, what you call human rights is because you have an understanding that this is how it should be. Allow another person get to that understanding. What you can only do or advocate is that we begin to have a conversation. What is their conversation level like with the different governments? Qatar, what is their conversation level? What's this department that handles diaspora government? What are they doing? What conversations are they having? They have to get to that level where they see it from your eyes. You can't impose it on them. Let me take this call.
Come to you, Top. Good morning. How are you doing? Femi from Abuja.
How are you?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Nice to be on this program.
Yes.
What you that message you just read just brings out the confusion about the human rights implementation when it comes to the Western world. Do you notice that in the US, the fight for black emancipation has been changed and given to LGBTQ? So it is now in the Qatar World Cup. When people talk about LGBTQ, you find that Qatar has sympathizers. But when you play up the abuse of labor laws in not paying migrant workers, it brings out a greater level of sympathy. It is because the West has given more prominence to LGBTQ fight than other major human rights advocacies. And so when things like this come up, you find a mix of reactions. And that is why Qatar may be getting away with the abuse of migrant labor.
Okay, go ahead.
I totally agree with Femi. The truth is, what are we fighting? What's the Western world fighting for? And if they had fought for the right things and not get distracted, they probably would have been able to achieve substantial influence. There's always issues around labor laws within the Middle East, and it is a major issue. It affects several Nigerians who go there with the intention of legitimately working, who don't get paid, who gets sentenced to prison, or they are made a slave. These are issues that need to be addressed, because people go to countries and migrate and they should be able to work freely there without being enslaved, in quotes. That should have been addressed major. That would have, everybody in the world would have supported them to say, Qatar, the least you can do, you've given this opportunity, we will allow you not to sell beer, we will allow you to frown, to maintain your values. Can you also give the world something by implementing the labor laws? That would have been a good win. But they decided to dilute it. They were fighting for too many things at the same time. I believe that it was a good thing for Qatar to hold on to its values, but everybody is evolving. And part of the area Qatar needs to evolve is in their labor laws. And this made it very obvious that they do not have a good one. And I feel that FIFA and the world lost an opportunity to make a huge impact by focusing on that one instead of diverting themselves.
Let me take this call from Olari. Why'd you come to Inima? Good morning, Olari. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I want people to understand something. We're talking about LGBT, okay, and concerning the Qatar as well. Most of these countries, so-called the Muslim Emirates, all this, they come to this country, to UK, to seek asylum. You know why? Because they are being persecuted in their own country, maybe being gay, being lesbian. Everyone comes to this country to seek asylum, and they are looking like, and they go to America as well. Remember that some years ago, one of the prince in Saudi, he came to this country with his maid. I think his maid is trying to, friend with the maid, maybe have something with him, So he killed that guy in the lift. He ran away to Saudi and the case was closed down. So there's a lot of things that is going on behind it, and most of these government people in all these Muslim countries, they come here and they do contrary things to what.
All right, thank you very much, Alani. I'll have to wrap up on this because we don't have so much time. But I think the human rights issues have been raised, and I think everybody sees that. But I would like to give Nima the final word here because I need to also let her reiterate why this is such an important landmark for many Muslims. Yeah.
Okay, so just as I said, Qatar is being doing the right representation, the right mirror of the Islamic world, putting the right Islamic values out there. I'd like that they add human rights, because at the core of all the sayings they are putting are human rights laws deviating from the Arab practices of old slavery and abuses of labor. In Islam, the sweat of a laborer must not dry before his money is paid. It's a saying of the Prophet and practiced by the Prophet. It's sad that, Arab wars generally, when they need to, they strictly protect themselves. None of the Arab wars grants anybody asylums in their country. You don't get a stay in their countries. They don't grant, if you like, stay there 67 years. You can never become a citizen of their country. So they protect themselves. So instead of focusing on the FIFA and Qatar hosting the FIFA World Cup, can the world generally start with Dubai, where everybody likes to go, and ask them, why do you take people's passports when you need to employ them? Why do you force people to stay on your site, run them in a settlement kind of treatment when they have to work with you? So it doesn't start with Qatar. Leave Qatar to host World Cup and focus on Arab world if you need to change labor.
It's important to also know that there are special packages for those who wanted to take alcohol.
Yes.
So they've been able to different packages, so at least to accommodate. So someone bent backwards to help to accommodate their visitors. But hey, I think we should highlight the good in this, which is the fact that the Islamic world is therefore being projected in a positive light, which is important for the world to see. That's all we can take on this hot topic. When we come back and bring in our first guest, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Because of you.
Thank you. Hi there. Hello, Paul. You can price shop, but you're always saving on.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw ether material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Yeah, take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
What's your age?
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
Damn. So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fela. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome mother, actor, lawyer, and Wonder Woman. First of her name, Queen of the Mic and the wielder of the lasso of truth.
Hey!
Oma Omi, Oma Wonder.
Oh. I'm so happy.
I don't bust your brain.
Look,
Hey.
Somebody needs to pen down that thing and keep it for me.
My first question. Your friendship with Waji has become an iconic Nigerian entry to the annals of best friend stories.
Let's see happen.
That symbolism of what you did, cutting your hair, letting it out, just...
The symbolism of letting it out.
Joining us on the show is a politician, an architect, writer, designer, and activist. He'll be telling us why Lagosians should entrust him with their votes come 2023 and how he will govern the most populated, diverse state in Nigeria, Lagos State. Welcome with us, Mr. Gbadebo Rootviver in the building. He's the governorship candidate for the Labour Party. You're so welcome to the show,
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. You can join the conversation now calling 081-270-53687. 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Sir, so there's a lot of controversy somewhat with you because you're in PDP, you're supposed to be deputy governor candidate, and they moved you to Labour, they moved to Labour Party, and you've been going around a bit. And I've watched a few of your interviews, and I know that you've been harping on the fact that you wanted to tap into the tourism potential of Lagos State, and I'd really like to discuss a bit on that, but let's start with why do you want to be governor of the state?
Okay. Well, I contested for Senate in 2019, half of Lagos.
Which party?
PDP.
Okay.
Ikeja all the way to Badagry. And that gave me insights in the 125 wards that are in that half of Lagos, going door to door, meeting people, understanding the pains that people feel in Ojo, where a child in the riverine area has to go such long distances to get primary school, to get primary health care. And in understanding that and understanding that we now have an opportunity where young people have decided that it's time for politics to be something that they play a part in. It's time for a situation where you have a politics that's accountable, a politics that's not left to just the politicians anymore. And the idea that Lagos can be so much more. Lagos was once ranked one of the best cities to live in 1966. It was ranked alongside states like Spain and London. And now, for the last 10 years, it's been consistently ranked as one of the bottom 2 worst places to live in the world. So, for me, bringing architecture to view, understanding how we can actually impact Lagos with good design, proper planning, systematic and structural planning, we can create a Lagos that works for everybody, right? And that is my passion, that is my drive. I'm from Lagos, I'm an indigenous of Lagos, and you know, like Plato says, you either choose to get involved or you complain about being ruled by people that are less than you.
Yeah, so I wanted to, I love the ownership, you know, this is where I'm from, this is why I want to make it work. But we know that Lagos isn't really about, Lagos is more than negotiations. That's the truth.
Of course, I agree.
And Lagos has grown and expanded based on the fact that every other part of the country has come here, put in the work. And how are you approaching those other people as well? Because if you go to the Ojo, you're not really seeing a lot of Lagosians. You're seeing the Igbo people who have lived within that Ojo area, the trade fair area. If you go to some other part, the Riverine area, they are Ijaw people that have lived there. So how are you going to get across to those that are not Yoruba people and are not Lagosians, but are also here and they feel like I was born here as well?
Of course. I am the epitome of New Lagos. I'm from a very old Lagos family. My mother is from Abia State. My wife is from Anambra. So if you're talking about epitomizing what Lagos is, I'm the embodiment of it. And when you look at the number of votes I got in 2019, it was a reflection of that. Because all those axes you've mentioned, Amo, Odofin, Ojo, those are places that were in my constituency. And those are people that came out and gave me those numbers. My mother was on campaign show with me, you know. It's also about empathy. It's about empathy. Being proud Lagosians, but also spending time in Port Harcourt, in Azumini during Christmas gives you a vast insight into human beings, into different cultures and different people, but to allow you to see more the commonalities that what separates them. So in relation to that, like I said, the idea of Lagos, which made it the commercial capital of the world, which made it Nnamdi Azikiwe's political base, was that the indigenes of Lagos have a culture of welcoming, of acceptance, of live and let live, of if you are bringing excellence, if you are bringing positivity and you respect the land, you will thrive. There's an imported culture that has come to Lagos State, and that's what we're trying to get away from and restore the original feeling of Lagos.
So for me, the current governor of Lagos State may be a tough nut to crack in the sense that some Lagosians, or I've heard in some quarters that he has been very proactive. He actually listens. People make complaints and say this is not working, that is not working, and before you understand what's happening, they are there. The people who are supposed to be doing the work are there. They are showing results. Do you think you stand a chance against someone who people are now beginning to see that this guy listens? Don't you think we should give him a second chance?
Listen to what?
To the cries of the people.
No. When you say the cries of people are people waking up at 4 a.m. to get to work for 8. And they're doing that, they've been constantly doing that for the last 20 years. The cries of people are that they don't have water in their house, even though the state has collected so much money from the World Bank to be able to deliver potable water to people's houses. People are crying about that. People are crying because they are embarrassed by agros on the road every day, right? Even the bus drivers have now come out to complain. Those are cries that are not being listened to. There are people that are complaining about how people were treated during NSAS, how the light was turned off, right? Those are cries that are not being listened to. You see, Lagos State has been run in a tokenist form for a very long time. There are things that are done to get the headlines. Lagos is working, but millions of Lagosians are in Lagos, and they've normalized suffering. Because waking up at 4 a.m., not seeing your children before they go to school, right? Coming back at 12 p.m., right? There's so many. People don't realize how many marriages have been broken because of just traffic in Lagos State.
Let me let Nima jump in here.
Okay, so I would like that when we talk about this administration and what it has done, let's give some credit where it is necessary. You mentioned the traffic, and you see construction as the bedrock of most of this. Eko Bridge presently suffered an explosion. The Ministry of Works, Federal Ministry of Works, have come to say that that bridge has to go down, or something has to be completely shut. I drove around that place and I saw the work. So I'd love some credit where it is necessary. And where it is not necessary, please be free to say.
Okay, so like I said, I don't believe in mediocrity. what has kept Nigeria where it is, where it should be one of the greatest countries in the black race, the black world, is mediocrity. We get a little token and we clap. Your bridge that you got, you could have got 4 of it. Because by default, Lagos operating at prices 4 times the World Bank benchmark for what a bridge should cost. And I give you an example for the Falomore Bridge, I'll even call it a ramp that links to Uzumba. It was done at 4 times the World Bank benchmark price, right? And so many things like that. But even getting deeper into what you said, it's taken almost 23 years to get the blue line, right? You have the Lagos-Ibadan rail, that's about 170 kilometers, that was done for about 1.5 billion, right? And we know that we need about 160 kilometers of rail to make Lagos work and to get away from traffic, so that you have a situation where even if you need to take that bridge down, it's okay because we can still move around Lagos. This thing has not been done. Barely 16 kilometers of rail has been done. The 160 kilometers was their plan. Barely 16 kilometers have been done. The red line, the track, the infrastructure was laid by the federal government. Yes, they built stations around it, and I clap for that. But the fact of the matter is, the main work and problems is, how long does it take to put the rail infrastructure? How long does it take to dredge your waterways and provide proper embankments so that we can actually move properly by water and connect Lagos, we're supposed to be connected?
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you...
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo people, we have Etinosa Idemudia in the building!
Not be first to go police station, they win the case.
So
you are showing yourself.
I go see as my second question.
You are feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello? Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was the woman who drew the line of the amalgamation? Who cut the report? Who is the person that used scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
You have done me dirty. I've marked your face. I've marked your face. If anything happened to me today, I don't reach my house. Anyway, I'm gonna be chauffeured, so.
You remember now, Avi? Yeah, but you never too thin. Now you remember.
Hey.
If a person who indulges habitually in watching a sexual material is called a voyeur.
That's what they're called.
You clearly say you don't go even get the next one.
Hey, a voyeur.
Voyeur.
Then go on.
What is a person who makes one
a
called?
Voyeur. A voyagist. A bon voyage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the part of the show where I really have a lot of fun. Why? I'm highly competitive. I'm not going to ask you regular questions on me. I'm not well. So you're going to be as nuts as I am today, yes?
Ready.
Alrighty. Hey, sorry. Can you put it down here, please? King Dion versus Tony. Oh, thank you. See all the Lee Kuku things you do. They make me no. Who said this?
I'm not working every day. Closer. Girl, I want to make you closer.
Okay.
Oxalating closer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun have you had on the show?
11, 10.
11?
10, yes.
11? Now we're going to terminate the show. Please, my producer, this is where we're cutting it. Cameraman, cut it. You don't cut. Okay, I'm just kidding.
The hottest music videos.
Check it out. Let's go.
Topping the charts. Right here on the Max World Chart Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
What's your age?
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It all starts.
Ọmọ fella. Ọmọ Aníkúlá Pókùtì. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup
check.
Are the scripts on the prompter? Script
check.
Are we set in the VCR? All team in place? VCR
check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights
are. Interviews where you were focusing on tourism, says how much you want to tap into tourism in Lagos. I'd like to know how you do that. And secondly, another question that came to mind is the influx of people that come into Lagos every single day is a major strain on the media resources they have within the state. The government always complains of how difficult it is where you try to buy amenities into maybe hospitals and they have more people coming in using as amenities. How do you plan to work in Lagos the way you have continuous influx of people all from all over the country coming to Lagos? Two questions in one.
Okay, so Lagos and that's band going all the way to Ghana is going to be a megapolis. The megapolis of the future is the fastest growing region in the world, right? And there are many reasons for this. Lagos was supposed to be the commercial capital of Nigeria. Where there is commerce, people will always come, right? So let's first understand that. Now, I'm going to link tourism, and this is your second question about managing people. So for tourism to thrive in a place, first you must celebrate your culture, which we were talking about while the camera was off. Celebrate your culture. Then you must create infrastructure to allow for a quality of life in Lagos State. And that's why, as part of our manifesto, we are going to deliver the 4 rail lines, right, in 4 years. So ensuring that people can move properly through the state, and then tackling security. Because you have a situation where bus drivers are complaining about agri-roads. People that are going to entering bus in the morning are complaining about agri-roads. Architect is complaining about agri-roads because when I'm doing construction on this side, there are people that come and force my workers to down their tools. And then if you don't take care of them, problem, because when the workers are leaving, they'll be harassed, right? So the idea now will be, how do we manage? Because first of all, these people have been backed by the political status quo. That's where they get their confidence from, right? And this needs to be changed completely. We're going to work with them as stakeholders to create a situation where they get skills that make them more employable and tie it into incentives for companies to settle in different local governments that make it self-sustaining. So urban renewal. And then now this brings us into tourism. So the local governments that have comparative advantages, so like Badagry, Ekpe, Ikorodu, they're close to the water, they have huge fishing communities, very lot of culture as well, especially Badagry. So let's use Badagry. We're going to make sure that, for instance, now the blue line is stopping Okokomaiko. It needs to go all the way down to Badagry, right? My father used to go to Badagry for weekends to visit the beaches. This needs to be restored, and then allow for even healthcare, right? To a new healthcare teaching hospital to be located in Badagry. So you're also pulling people there, right? And then you now make that division to now thrive, right? Because when you locate an industry, you allow people to come there. Development now happens in that area, right? So these are things that we'll do to allow for tourism to thrive, and then aim to make Lagos State a 24-hour economy, right? Being a 24-hour economy is truly based on security. The moment you can go out at night, you know. But then back to your question about a lot of people coming in. You see, Lagos State is the equivalent of what America is to Nigeria. Lagos State is pulling the best brains from all over Nigeria, whether we like it or not. And Lagos State, the idea that they like to boast about, is coming from these people that are coming to Lagos. Now, the question is, how are these resources being managed? Trillions of naira have been spent in this state in the last 20 years, and it does not tie into the development that we see in the state, right? Because there's no transparency, there's no accountability in the government, the finances are opaque. Now, the moment we start to have a situation where this bridge costs 1 naira, and we are spending 95 naira, 95 costs 1 naira, we are spending 95 kobo to do, because we even got a better deal. We are negotiating to achieve economies of scale. So we are negotiating with this construction company to achieve economies of scale so they can do 4. And we're even doing it lower than the benchmark price. And we're meeting a benchmark level of quality. Then we are managing our resources properly. And it will thrive, right? Because, again, people that are coming to Lagos are coming to work, and most of them
even those in the containers that come, the ones that come in containers and bicycles.
Like I said, most of them.
Okay, let me come to talk about
I really would like to talk about, you know, Nema's story today about the fact that water is covering more parts of Lagos. Yes. Lagos is largely below sea level.
Yes.
What's your own manifesto towards, what's your plan towards helping to keep nature, to conserve nature and combating climate change?
That's a beautiful question. So Lagos State is surrounded by wetlands. Unfortunately, because of the corruption in the system, developers are just allowed to sandfill any area. You see a lot of sandfilling happening and properties are just rising up and down. Now, the problem is that your wetland area is your natural gutter in a place that is below sea level. So normally your water goes there and stays. It's like a sockaway, right? Now, when you sandfill it, water is being displaced. Now, unfortunately, Lagos State literally is run, in my opinion, for profit as opposed to for the people, because you find that a lot of development is happening for the rich. A lot of sand filling is happening. That water must go somewhere. It is displaced, and usually it's affecting the poor, because there is no, okay, this is the eventual effect that it's going to have. So we are going to go there and we are going to create embankments and dredge the water properly. So when we sand fill this part that's for the rich, water is not going to overflow the places where they'll be affecting the poor. So my manifesto, we have a wetland protection policy that is very sacrosanct to urban planning in Lagos State. You will no longer just be able to sandfill any and everywhere, displace people, because you see, even if there's wetlands, you still find indigenous people living in those areas, right? And a lot of them are displaced, and there's no proper care for where they are going to, or how they are going to survive after they leave.
Mr. Bible, your hands will be full in Amodofin, for instance. Yeah. So what exactly would you like to change when it comes to, okay, let's pick Amodofin, because I live in Amodofin. What would you like to change? One of the things, if I were governor, that I would love to see change is the practice of the people when it comes to waste management.
Oh, yes.
And how they dump waste everywhere and anywhere. Yes. How would you run that area if you were you?
Yeah, you guys are asking very nice questions. You see, we talked about waste management, but what I call what's going on in Lagos is Lagos State pick and dump. They are not managing waste. For waste to be managed properly, they must go through different routes. They must be upcycled, recycled. It's not, you are wasting waste when you are just creating landfills with it, right? So now, you must actually have local government autonomy, right? Lagos State recently voted against having local government autonomy. And I say this because when you have local government autonomy, you can now have visionary potential governors as your local government chairman. Now, I say this because proper waste management must be at a local level, right? So there must be incentives that are coming directly to that local government that will incentivize them to make sure that their people are managing waste properly. And when I say manage waste, you want a situation where from the house, people are separating waste to organic, plastics, and others. So the truck that is coming to pick organic waste is different from the truck coming to pick plastic waste. We must now open the entire system. We must depoliticize it so that if you have a truck, you can get into the system in a very transparent, easy way. So that we make up for...
question. Are you going on the break?
Yes.
So when we come back, I'll ask it again.
Stay with us. No we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Merry Christmas!
Lagos with if you not jump person go jam you.
You know, every time you open that your stupid mouth, you show exactly what you...
Our guest, yes, is known for his quick rhymes, perfect cadence, His Royal Highness the Finest, Jacks of all trades, Emperor Gaba, Jesse Jags. Jesse, please answer this next question by way of accepting or drinking another glass of alcohol if you disagree with the following statement. MI is the greatest Nigerian rapper of all time. It's very easy to catch Jesse Jags.
That's right.
There's no way he's going to agree.
OJ, it's been a nice day hanging out with you. My last question. I want you to name all the instruments that I play.
This is the trumpet, the saxophone, trumpet, saxophone. Yeah. You just play one of those wind instruments.
Taught by Femi Kuti. I do play saxophone. Taught by the legend. So I'll give you that. Boy, you're going to drink half.
And so does alphabet.
No, do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Just why are you hiding?
So
why
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the part of the show where I really have a lot of fun. Why? I'm highly competitive. I'm not going to ask you regular questions on me. I'm not well. So you're going to be as nuts as I am today, yes?
Ready.
Alrighty. Sorry. Can you put it down here, please? King Dion versus Tony. Oh, thank you. See all the Lee Kuku things you do. They make me. Oh no. Who said this?
I'm going to every day closer. Girl, I want to make you closer.
Okay.
Oxalating closer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun have you had on the show?
11, 10.
11?
10, yes.
11? Now we're going to terminate the show. Please, my producer, this is where we're cutting it. Cameraman, cut it. You don't cut. Okay, I'm just kidding.
The hottest music videos.
Check it out. Let's go.
Topping the charts. Right here on the Max World Chart Show.
and gentlemen, please make welcome mother, actor, lawyer, and Wonder Woman. First of her name, Queen of the Mic and the wielder of the lasso of truth.
Hey!
Oma Omi, Oma Wonder.
I'm so happy.
I don't bust your brain.
Look,
Hey.
somebody needs to pen down that thing and keep it for me.
My first question. Your friendship with Waji has become an iconic Nigerian entry to the annals of best friend stories.
Let's see happen.
That symbolism of what you did, cutting your hair, letting it out, just...
The symbolism of letting it out, of cutting my hair, and full expression of my despair.
Yes.
Oh, mommy. And then when you enter class, you say no. What manner of disrespect is that? You want to disgrace me so that people will not know that I know what it means?
And look, you do like this for you to even drink self.
Which I'm
so
going
that
to.
you will not get it.
I don't like this, honestly. Oh, mommy.
I'm in trouble. She's holding her sleeve.
Why you dey fear? Don't be all of us they drink.
So,
I don't tell you, it's either we use leg, take waka, or we use head. I wanted to ask you, when did I get married? See your eyes.
I dey vex.
I don't do you back. Improv.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup
check.
Are the scripts on the prompter? Script
check.
Are we set in the VCR? All Tim in place? VCR
check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple award-winning actor, producer, ambassador of Edo people, we have Etinosa Idemudia in the building!
Don't be first to go police station, they win the case.
Is
So
she?
you are showing
No,
yourself.
I go say that's my second
You are
question.
feeling like a contact the prancing peacock. I'm about to cut your wings. Hello? Now, in the amalgamation of 1914, who was the woman who drew the line of the amalgamation? Who cut the report? Who is the person that used scissors? What is his name?
That woman.
You have done me dirty. I've marked your face. I've marked your face. If anything happened to me today,
I don't
if I don't reach my house. Anyway, I'm gonna be chauffeured, so.
You remember now, Abby? Yeah, but you never too thin. Now you remember.
Hey.
If a person who indulges habitually in watching a sexual material is called a voyeur.
That's what they're called.
It's clear so you don't go even get the next one.
Hey, a voyeur.
Voyeur.
Then go on.
What is a person who makes one
A
call?
voyeur. A voyagist. A bon voyage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome mother, actor, lawyer, and Wonder Woman. First of her name, Queen of the Mic and the wielder of the lasso of truth.
Hey!
Oma Omi,
Oh,
Oma Wonder.
Oh.
Megbele!
I'm so happy.
I don't bust your brain.
Look,
Hey.
somebody needs to pen down that thing and keep it for me.
My first question. Your friendship with Waji has become an iconic Nigerian entry to the annals of best friend stories.
Let's see happen.
That symbolism of what you did, cutting your hair, letting it out, just...
The symbolism of letting it out, of cutting my hair, and full expression of my despair.
Yes.
Ah! Oh, mommy. Then they say when you enter class, you say no. What manner of disrespect is that? You want to disgrace me so that people will not know that I know what it means?
And look, it you like this for you to even check self.
Which I'm
so
going
that
to.
you will not get it.
I don't like this, honestly. Oh, mommy.
I'm in trouble. She's holding her sleeve.
Why you dey fear? Don't be all of us they drink.
So,
I don't tell you, it's either we use leg, take waka, or we use head. I wanted to ask you, when did I get married? See your eyes.
I dey vex.
I don't do you back. Improv.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Our guest, yes, is known for his quick rhymes, perfect cadence, His Royal Highness the Finest, Jacks of all trades, Emperor Gaba, Jesse Jags. Jesse, please answer this next question by way of accepting or drinking another glass of alcohol if you disagree with the following statement. MI is the greatest Nigerian rapper of all time. It's very easy to catch Jesse Jags.
That's right.
There's no way he's going to agree.
OJ, it's been a nice day hanging out with you. My last question. I want you to name all the instruments that I play.
This is the trumpet. the saxophone, trumpet saxophone. Yeah. You just play one of those wind instruments.
Taught by Femi Kuti. I do play saxophone. Taught by the legend. So I'll give you a. Boy, you're going to drink half.
And so does alphabet.
No, do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Just why are you hiding?
So
Why
how
you? Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome mother, actor, lawyer, and Wonder Woman. First of her name, Queen of the Mic and the wielder of the lasso of truth.
Hey!
Oma Omi, Oma Wonder.
Oh.
Megbele!
I'm so happy.
I don't bust your brain.
Look,
Hey.
Somebody needs to pen down that thing and keep it for me.
My first question. Your friendship with Waji has become an iconic Nigerian entry to the annals of best friend stories.
Let's see happen. That
symbolism of what you did, cutting your hair, letting it out, just...
The symbolism.
Lush hair, big beauty.
Thanks for staying with us. BC had a question. Go
yes, so I'd like you to tell us about your running mate. And how you think, or how you're able to canvass for votes in this coming election. What are some of the plans you have to get a lot of people to support your dream?
My running mate is an excellent woman, Princess Oyefusi. She's a daughter of the late Ayogbore of Ikorodu. She was central candidate in 2019 in Lagos East, and she got 40% of the votes in that election. She has training in business management. She's worked in city councils in England, so she has that sort of local government professionally run experience that she's going to bring to the table. She's also an international businesswoman as well, and she's a very deep-rooted grassroots politician, especially in the Lagos East Central District, and really expanding across Lagos now. So what we are doing is, the main aim in this election is to nurture and bring a whole new voter demographic to the polls, right? The current voter base has really been nurtured in the last 20 years by the ruling party. We are nurturing ours, and the people have decided that they are going to get involved, and we are making that possible.
Let's talk about the House of Assembly and the construction, because if you do become governor, you're going to have a national House of Assembly probably possibly full of non-party members. And because your party is not very popular in Lagos, I would say. But if you become governor, how do you intend to function, especially with the House of Assembly that might not be from your party? And that's one. My part B of the question is, you talked about local government autonomy the other time. Yeah. Somebody was saying here that one of the reasons why Lagos State didn't pass that law was because of the fact that the federal government only recognizes 20 local government while they're having 57. What are your thoughts on this local government autonomy? Do you agree with federal government that we should only have 20 local governments, or do you agree when Nashiwaju said that you should have that 57 local governments and 20 local governments and then other LCDAs? Yes.
Okay, so I'll start from the last question you asked. I believe that the closer power gets to the people, the better for the people, especially if that power is managed properly and it's not an inefficient and expensive arm of government, right? So the federal government, with the whole politics going on, I mean, APC promised us that when Lagos State aligns with the federal government, we would have 57 local governments, but that has not happened for whatever reason. So currently we have 20 local governments. For me, we work with what we have to get what we want. They already have a system going on where allocation comes to the one that is recognized by the federal, and it is divided to the three, right? That forms the LCDAs, right? So I don't think that is a good enough reason to reject local government autonomy. Local government autonomy would allow especially if you have visionary local government chairmen, allow a lot of development to come to local government. The inner rules that are plaguing, bad inner rules that are plaguing Lagos State will actually be done. And then your other question about assembly members. By God's grace, when we form our government in 2023, it will be because we also won lots of assembly seats. And besides that, the whole conversation about value. We want to create value, right? So I don't practice the politics of bitterness. The question is, I set the goals, I communicate the goals, and we work together to get those goals done and protect the interests of the people. And also we'll be transparently communicating with our people, create a lot of feedback loops. So in the people that are being encumbrances to good government, right, the people will know. It will not be an opaque system, right? One of the things that we are going to do is we're going to have a radio show that is taking on a local government or an issue for a number of days in the week, and then I will come on the last week and address it, right? So constant feedback loop. So if you, the state assembly member, want to be the thorn in the flesh of development in the state, your people will know.
Okay, so I have a question earlier. My question was talking about how to change the culture of waste dropping of the people of Amodofi where I live. And also there's a question from there on how you will deal, asking you now, how will you deal with the indiscriminate sitting of tank farms along the Jigu waterside and containers terminal spread around Amodofi? Yes,
it's a very big problem. And this has been consistent even when I ran in 2019, 2018. You have people coming home and just tankers, containers. So we're going to have to carry all stakeholders along and push for new rules, whether it's going to be incentivized by levies or taxes that will be imposed on them. But you must have a proper garage for your tankers if you are going to operate your tank farm. There must be a place where they park. It is no longer okay to take over our roads, right? And we'll also make sure that there are stiff consequences to people that are taking bribes, right, to ensure that those things happen. And first, there now needs to be, well, there was a call-up system that was settled in Apapa, but obviously that also broke down because stakeholders were not properly aligned. So this must be a continuous process, and we must make sure that we carry everybody's interest along. There's a human factor in this that we cannot just push under the carpet and say, I will come and I will solve all the problems. No, human beings are very complicated individuals, but we must keep that conversation going and be stern and determined to make sure that we have a free-moving Lagos State.
So one of your selling points running is you're being very young, but I know that you also contested under you were in PDP for a very long time. Your deputy governor candidate was also in PDP, and what brought you? Why did you leave PDP, and what do you want to do differently together under Labour Party? Okay, so the PDP was a situation where, it's just summary because it's a distraction at this point. I withdrew from the race at the last minute because leaders in the party felt that there could be a potential ticket that was unbeatable. And I withdrew. I was not happy about withdrawing, but I withdrew because they had agreed that, okay, you guys will make a good pairing. A week later, the flag bearer changed his mind about that, right? And decided on somebody else. And that's all well and good. This is prerogative. But there are consequences to breaching and reneging on agreements, which you are seeing play out now. So I joined the Labour Party, and I chose the Labour Party because I saw the movement that was coming. You see, the people had started to go past having candidates that just come and dance and crack jokes and say funny things, and you know, they have the boys or they have money. They're now starting to look at people that have competence, people that have character, people that don't have baggage, and people that have integrity. And I felt that the choice that His Excellency Peter Obi made of choosing Dati, who was not like the typical grassroots politician, but was also an intellectual, highly cerebral, someone that has invested a lot in development in the healthcare sector, in the education sector, was starting to create a brand. And when you start to have a brand, then you start to have an identity. And that then creates ideology. And that is something that I bought into. And that's why I joined Labour Party. Labour Party, our vision for it is to create a party that is truly powered by the people. And I won't say middle class, but not middle class in the way we understand it.
Middle class in the sense of you are educated, you have opinions, you can make decisions with your mind, not your belly. Right? You are the ones that know all the tweets about how Lagos can be better. You Facebook all day about the complaints and how you can change policy. Get involved.
One of the major problems we have across the nation is the need for a mental change, a perspective, because many people, yes, governments come with great policies. You must not do this, you must not do that. And it's fantastic on paper. Implementation is totally different because the people are totally, they're used to the way of life of just getting things done or cutting corners or just the corruption. People are used to it. It's like almost like a lifestyle. How does your government plan to change mindsets? Because the truth is that that's a major driver for any change. If no matter how great your policy is, if the people are not ready for that change, they're not going to move.
Okay, so I think it's very important that I clarify something. You see, the Nigerian that we have today is not what the Nigerian always was. There was a Nigerian that puts in people like Obafemi Awolowo, that experienced Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe. These people were not motivated by the money sharing. They were donating. When you talk to people like Pa Adebanjo, and you talk about the money involved in politics, he does not understand it because he came from a time where people were donating to political campaigns. People were responsible. The military incursion happened. Biafra War happened. Our values were starting to get lost because of a number of people that were displaced in that whole process. Anybody that's interested can read about Claude Ake. He did a fantastic treatise on it, the two cities, where it breaks it down very well. But going into, it's important to say that because I don't want people to have the sense that Nigerians have always been this way. Nigerians are reflecting leadership. Right? And that's how Nigeria is. So for me, my government will be leading by example. I talk about opening up our accounts, and I'm saying it publicly so I can be held to it. We'll open our accounts. We'll publish line by line items. Right? Now, when you do this, you've enthroned transparency and accountability. And if I all of a sudden don't want to do that anymore, I cannot, because now that system has already been set. And then it allows for performance and delivery of projects at a price that is efficient, right? And then also, going to what you're saying, is leading by example, ensuring that our enforcement agencies are also making sure that people face consequences, and not consequences that are detrimental, where I'll seize your car and sell it. No. Little consequences, right? Now make you start thinking, you know what, I'm going to adjust my quality of life. So bills, right, that are automated. So if you are going through one way, a bill that is directly linked to your license plate, right? You don't have to pay it now, but when you want to renew, you pay it, right? And this will be piling on.
We have to wrap up. Let me take a few comments on social media and run off. We have run out of time. Go ahead.
Informer says, information dissemination is key for engagement, enlightenment, and inclusivity. I am listening to, she's tagging you on TVC Connect and says that the Lagos State House of Assembly voted against Lagos State autonomy. And Hold Funky JFlex says, "Leave this your guess is a bag of wisdom. Listening to him make me proud to be a Nigerian. His type is supposed to be at the helms of affairs in Lagos because he's not only a thinker but a problem solver." And
any other comments on social media?
I'm trying to look. I have one here. It said Shegun Oyelike says we need to tie party performance to the candidate and glue it with super glue.
Okay, as we wrap up, let me just give you an opportunity to talk to the Gaussians, especially because the elections are coming up, and there are many people at the polls, and people are trying to make objective decisions. So what would you say to Nigerians at this time? Why should they vote for you in a nutshell?
We need to change the narrative of Nigeria. And in doing that, the people must get involved. You can no longer leave politics to just politicians. The people determine and should determine the politician that comes up based on the votes and you participating. A lot of people have gotten to get registered. I know that they might be frustrating you, but make sure you see it through. Power is not given to you like that. You have to take power, and that is your part that you need to play. If you do not get registered, find 10 people that you make sure you are responsible for to ensure that they vote on the day of election. The moment politicians start to see that the people are determining who gets into power, they then become accountable to the people and they serve the people. And that is the trajectory that will allow us to have servant leaders that will move our country forward. So please get involved. Please make sure you vote for people that have competence, integrity, capacity, and the courage to actually make Nigeria and Lagos State a better place for you.
Just in case you lose, what happens?
I'll keep nurturing this new voter demographic because I believe that they are the custodians of democracy. And they need to be the ones that determine who rules us, not people that vote based on their stomach.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gbadebo Roots-Vival. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.